Hey guys, what's going on? So tonight, I wanted to talk about a couple different subjects, topics, and we're going to start with the relationship that we have with ourselves. Because you got to put yourself first. Now, later on in the video, we are also going to discuss what I believe to be the most attractive quality you can possess, that anybody can possess. So as you can tell, this episode is not a meditative dark episode yet, because the sun is going down as we speak. So by the time this video has concluded, it might be dark. So warning. You know, in last night's video, I was hard pressed on getting a point across. And the point that I was trying to get across is that we must first take care of ourselves before we're even able to take care of others. So the priority number one, our main focus priority should be, yes, we are giving to the world. We are very generous with our giving. I'm not saying to not give. I'm just saying we must first give to ourselves in order to receive. And a lot of us aren't scanning our body, like for anxiety and depression and built up energy, like where it's exactly stuck in our body, you know, because it could be stuck like in my shoulders or in my arms. And it's kind of funny because the clothing that you wear, you want to be very selective with the clothing that you wear. That's huge. A lot of people pass it off as, oh, I just got to look good. No, it's how you feel in the clothing. I promise. You want to feel very loose. You know, you want to feel like you're at ease. Because if you're at ease, you perform your best. And people feel that. Now, I thought of something very wise earlier today, and I'm going to go ahead and say it in this video. People don't remember what you say. They don't remember the words that you speak. People remember how you made them feel. They don't remember the words that you speak. They remember how it made them feel. They remember the energy that was happening in that moment in time. See, that's what's really important. When we get down to it, that's what's really most important. Is how we make others feel. You know, as I think about it and continually thinking about it, I want to be in the business of making others feel good about themselves and accepting aspects of themselves that they don't accept in themselves, because possibly that could inspire them. And even if it doesn't, it still plants a seed. It plants a seed of hope. It plants a spiritual seed in their mind. But back on topic here, we must first give to ourselves. We must be very generous with ourselves. We must put ourselves first. Because whenever we're at our best, whenever we are at ease, that's when we do our best. That's when our best feelings are transferred to others. So it's definitely in how we feel. You know, if you're feeling anxiety, understand where that's coming from, where that's originating from. It can be originating from your mind, a thought that you have had over a period of months or even years, that just sits and it's like stuck energy. Well, stuck energy in the mind expresses itself, it has to express itself through the body as disease and decay and through anxiety. Well, where does that come from? That comes from fear. That comes from fear, guys. Now, if we're going to talk on the subject of the most unattractive quality you can possess, it's being scared. It's being fearful of anything. Now, fear can be a good thing. It can. Because we talked about the laws of the universe, the law of polarity, and how there's positive and negative to everything to maintain the balance. But whenever it comes to using our higher faculty perception, we can choose what things mean. You can take it as a positive or you can take it as a negative. But you can find both, but what are you going to give more energy to? So just remember that you come first as an individual, as a creator, as a spiritual leader. You come first. Your feelings come first, and your feelings matter. Absolutely, they matter. If they didn't, you wouldn't be here. See, we either understand that through having faith and having hope that we are bettering ourselves, and in turn that promotes the betterment of society, the betterment of others, the betterment of family, whether that's your immediate family or your spiritual family, your friends, acquaintances, the ones that you really connect with. Because many people aren't too close to their biological family. But I'm digressing. We want to understand how we're feeling at all times, and we want to be aware in our mind's eye that if I'm not feeling right in a certain environment or place, then we must work on changing it. And most times we have the ability to change it right then and there. And then other times we must, whatever it takes, saving up money in order to move out, or move out of that current environment that you're in, anything. But the behaviors and limits of others can definitely rub off on us sometimes. So we must protect our mind. We must protect our heart. And we do that through what we focus on. And we do that through taking care of ourselves, our happiness, health, and wealth. We come first. Your happiness, health, and wealth will always come before anything else. Some people say that this is a selfish way to live. But then again, there's that negative. That's a negative aspect of this. Now, the positive aspect is that we help ourselves in order to help others. We help ourselves in order to feel at ease, in order to feel good in our bodies, so that we come across as our most confident self, our most successful self. We must give ourselves the most attention. We must go inward. So not to say that those people are wrong in their in their perception and perspective, to say that it is a selfish thing, but see, who said being selfish was bad? Who said being selfish was bad? They did. They did. You don't have to see it that way. You see it in the positive aspect, because there's positives and negatives. There's polarities to everything. Everything. You can always find the positive and negative in everything, because you choose what things mean. So just remember this, and the video is already coming up on 10 minutes, so we are going to continue. And as you can tell, it's starting to get a little bit darker. So this might end up being a dark session. I like the dark sessions, but at least this time you got to see me outside instead of, where are we? Okay, so moving on. The single most attractive quality one can possess. You know what that is? I believe the single most attractive quality one can possess is openness. Is openness. Is having the faith in oneself, not being scared to show your true colors. Like some people call it wearing your heart on your sleeve. You can call it that. And this is derived from my own subjective perspective. True. Because we are all attracted to different things. But certainly myself and many others that I do know that connect with me, that I connect with, we agree that openness is the most attractive trait that you can possess, because openness is the opposite of fear. We aren't, tiptoeing our way through life hoping to make it safely to death. We are taking risks. We're taking necessary risk. And we're branching out, and we're not being scared of the future, and we're not too focused on the future. We're not too focused on the past. We're right here in this moment. And that's where the power really lies. It's right here in this moment, living with, in spite of fear. Now, fear is going to be there, but in spite of fear, we choose faith. Because we understand that through faith, we are at ease. Understanding ourselves. Again, it goes back to that inner work that I was referring to earlier. It always begins as a mindset. It always begins as a mindset. I talked about it in the other video, and I'm going to keep on bringing it up as the sun goes down here. I keep on bringing it up, guys. It starts with us. Your healing begins with you. Success begins with you. It begins with self. Because most of the things that are playing out in our lives, they're self-fulfilling prophecies. That's what fear does. Fear makes us anxious. Fear puts us in this state of confusion, anxiety. And the polar opposite of that is living a life of faith, living a life of openness. That's single-handedly the most attractive quality one can possess, is being carefree of what others think. Living your true life, carving your own path, walking the road that you know fulfills your own soul and spirit. I think it was Earl Nightingale, possibly, that said that success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. What that means is we start with an idea in our mind. And whatever we give energy to grows. In fact, the only thing that can grow is that which we give energy to. You're guaranteed that if you're experiencing any anxiety and you're not at ease, it is because of something that is happening on the outside, but that comes from what is happening on the inside first, because everything is expressed. In fact, anxiety is actually the opposite of expression, because the anxiety is actually being suppressed. The polar opposite of expression is suppression. That anxiety is derived from the fear of what others think, the fear of judgment, the fear of what we might appear to be to others. And that's where it starts first. If you're wondering, I do have the speaker out here, but it is chilling in the corner tonight. It's a little bit different. A little bit different. I thought about putting it on the seat here. I just felt a bug just about crawling my shirt. I thought about putting it right on the seat here, and then I thought, you know what? It's kind of cool right behind the seat. But it starts with you, it starts with me, it starts with self. Because anxiety is derived from the fear, and that is suppressed. And that turns to anxiety in the body. And then in turn, it just keeps going. Whatever we give energy to perpetuates. So that will perpetuate into disease and decay. And eventually death. These are ideas that we've given energy to, guys. On the polar opposite side, we give idea to a positive idea, one that we've become emotionally involved with, and that sinks down into the subconscious mind. It is said that the subconscious mind is responsible for up to 96 to 97% of our entire life, of all the results that we see throughout life. That's governed by the subconscious mind. That's science. It's the thoughts that we entertain. It's the thoughts that we become emotionally involved with that dictate the quality of our life, regardless of circumstances, regardless of what's happening. So we either choose, and we have the ability to choose. It's starting to get really dark now, as you can tell. So I'm going to begin wrapping up the video shortly. But we choose. You have the choice. We have the most powerful gift in the whole universe, which is the power of decision. We decide our thoughts. We decide what things mean. Are you going to choose the positive or negative side? Are you going to live a life of fulfillment and abundance and happiness, wealth and health? Or are you going to live a life of lack, poverty, depression, and anxiety? You're not a victim. You're not a victim. You're a victim by choice. And you're, on the polar opposite side, you're a victor by choice. You are either going to react to things or you're going to respond to things. Reacting we do naturally, we do automatic. To respond, you have to think. We think for ourselves. It all begins inside. It all begins with self. Because whatever we give energy to grows, and whenever that grows, it perpetuates, and we see more of it. The single most attractive quality one can possess is faith, health, and well-being. And we express that through action. We express that through creative force, using our intellect. The sky is slowly starting to clear up a little bit. I was saying that we saw a shooting star the other night. Go back and watch the other videos. I really enjoyed this talk here. I really enjoyed this video because we sort of went through different stages in this discussion. Okay, so I just picked up on a question. I'm going to answer that question. Well, Mike, you've stated in some of your previous videos that roadblocks are bound to come, and we are going to deal with all seasons of life through the universal law of rhythm, which we discussed in previous videos. Yes, that's true. But we decide what that means. We decide what the quote-unquote bad means. Is it happening to you, or is it happening for you? You choose. And unfortunately, many choose the negative side of that, which perpetuates into fear and anxiety and disease and decay. And you'll know by the feeling. You know how I said earlier in the video that people don't remember what you say, they remember how you made them feel? We remember feelings. We don't remember what people say. We choose how we feel. And if we feel it affected something, then we're simply not thinking. If you ever feel it affect, you're not using your higher faculty. Use your higher faculties and realize that the adversity or circumstance is simply something that's happening outside of your control, but the thing that you can control is you. The thing that you can control is your perpetuation of faith based on understanding. That leads to health and well-being. It governs your actions. 96 to 97% of your life is governed by the ideas that you have internalized, the ideas that you have gotten emotionally involved with. That dictates the quality of our lives. And we access the subconscious mind by entertaining new ideas. If you feel trapped, if you feel stuck, then it's time to change the ideas that we have in our heads. It's time to change. It's time to change the ideas. Step out of the fear, and create new life through the understanding of these laws, through the understanding. This will perpetuate into faith-based understanding, faith-based on understanding. You'll start to feel better. You're going to start to feel at ease. You're going to even notice a change in your body, how you walk, how you feel, how you talk. People are going to try to get under your skin. It's not going to affect you anymore. It's not going to be anything. It'd be like a fly on your shoulder, like that bug that was trying to get into my shirt. I didn't react all crazy. I just kind of, get out. Move. Move. It's it's time for me to, get this gnat off of me and continue throughout life. I'm not focused on that. When people are struck with a certain negative circumstance, what's the first thing they focus on? They focus on the fear. They focus on what could go wrong. They should be focusing on what could go right. Things will turn around in your life like night and day. If you understand these laws, things will start turning around in your life substantially. It really will. Try it. If you want to become a more attractive person, you have to take control of your thought life. Stop entertaining negative ideas. Start becoming emotionally tied to ideas of abundance and prosperity and wealth and happiness and wholeness within oneself. And you will begin to see that perpetuate outwardly, because the health and well-being is then expressed. It's expressed. It's not suppressed. You're not keeping all this in your body where you're in this chaotic vibration. Not anymore. All the greats, all the great minds of all times have agreed on the same thing. We become what we think about most. So the thoughts and ideas that we entertain on a consistent basis become our reality. And if we fail to understand what I am discussing here in these videos, if we fail to understand this, then we will live a life full of fear and anxiety and close, usually if somebody else is closed off, is being very closed off to you, and you find yourself in a situation where you feel like people are just not giving you the time of day and they're being closed off, well, that's their issue. That's happening in them. That's an extreme internal job, because we are all individual beings living separate journeys. It means that they are not in tune with themselves. And that's okay. We need to forgive those people, because it's not their time yet. They'll eventually come around. And if they don't, that's not your job to change. It's their job to change. Only you can change this for yourself. Therefore, we must not worry about what we see that other people aren't giving us, because then again, we're entertaining the negative ideas. We must see the positive aspects of everything, do our best to do that. You know what's that? Living this way, you know what it's called? This is called freedom. This is breaking free of any limitations and all of the terror barriers. This is breaking free from that fear-based mindset that most people find themselves living in today. And I'm operating on the premise that we want to change this. All of us want to discover this freedom that I'm discussing, that we are discussing. But to be free takes effort. It takes having a deeper relationship with self and understanding self, understanding who we are and the power that we have to create, both negative and positive. We have the creative power to inherit either the negative or positive aspects of anything. We must choose, consciously choose, every day. It must become a habit. It's a way of life.